It's Jane Johnston with the Briar Hill Group at Remax Camosun, host of Vancouver Island Time, and now Community Talks. We're on daily at 4:30. Today we are, hold on one second, I just have a bit of an issue. Save changes. Okay. Today we are talking with Darrin Bridge. Darrin is a coach with Guardian Coaching and Consulting. She's going to be talking to us about turning followers into leaders. Welcome, Darrin.
Hi, Jane. Thank you so much for having me. What a great introduction.
Sorry about that. I had an error all of a sudden.
No way. I love it. People just roll through and this, the show must go on. So thanks.
So tell me what kind of coaching and consulting you do exactly.
Yeah, thanks. It's always a bit of a loaded question, I think, for any coach in particular to be asked, like, tell me about what you do. And I really love my tagline, I think really says it all, is that I turn followers into leaders. And if you go to my LinkedIn profile after that, I say who get paid. Right. So the kind of coach I am is working with people to be the leader that they are everywhere in your life. To me, I don't care if you lead a family, if you lead a business, an entire corporation, or your finances, right? That being the leader that we know we can be is really what it's all about. And yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Well, I was going to say one of the issues that I found in real estate is really you have to be a leader for your clients.
Yes.
So you have to know what the vision is, understand what their vision is, help them move forward, identify like your basic steps that you need to meet your goal, come up with a project plan, and then implement. Is that what you do with your clients, sort of thing? And but you hold them accountable?
Yeah, there's so many parallels actually between this type of coaching and real estate people. So I can definitely speak through that lens, right? So the number one strategy that I have is commit to creating a business culture that actually inspires and sources you, right? As a real estate agent, I'm positive that you are not helping people buy a house that doesn't actually go with their vision, right? It doesn't serve the growth of their family or whatever vision they have for themselves there. So yeah, it actually starts with a vision, right? Really allow your heart and soul to be in this vision. And then, yeah, get serious, get a project design, get some structures in place about how you're going to get there, and be real super responsible about taking steps to make your vision come to life.
So when you're saying sourcing, what do you mean source? What does that mean, that word?
Oh,
Sources you rather than depletes you.
Nice. Thanks.
You.
Yeah. I would say things like fills your cup, right? Really when we are going for something that is a real big desire that we have, there's gonna be times when you doubt yourself or your realtor or your coach or your dream or your vision. And so in those times that it gets tough, we have to really be sourced by how come we're doing it. It's not so much about what we're doing, but remembering how come we're doing it.
What's your why?
Yes, that's another way of saying it. Yeah, really, what is your why? That is so important to call you forward through the really tough times.
Yeah, so I always look at that like it's kind of your internal GPS. So when you get to a point where you're at a crossroads, if you have a really great vision of where you want to be eventually, when you get distracted, it brings you back on course. So like nobody's going to be linear their whole business career. It's going to be, distract, go back, distract, go back.
Yes. So yeah, which path will I go to? And that's another one of my strategies that I gave, was to stop running your business from your comfort zone, right? And sometimes when we come to those crossroads, it's like it's so tempting to go left. So comfortable there, so cushy, right? So you don't have to risk looking stupid or making anybody else feel bad or all those things we do to stay in our comfort zone. But from my vision, I know I need to go right. It's just, yeah.
So, you actually cut out a bit. So stop running your business from your comfort zone. You know what I find is in business, I've worked with a lot of entrepreneurs over the past 7 years since I was first a managing director at eWomen Network, and now I help people mostly in real estate. But I find that really people get comfortable with two things. One is their level of income, and the other is their workload. And often, like business, really, the sky's the limit. If you're creative, you can earn as much as you want. Do you find income is a glass ceiling for people as well? Like all of a sudden they kind of turn off. I know people who physically have like turned off as soon as they reach a 6-figure mark or something like that.
Yeah, where they really hit that ceiling. I find one of the reasons why I added a financial consulting aspect to my coaching business is because money is the number one reason why people don't pursue their dreams and goals. Right? And my mission is really to have people running their money rather than having their money run them. So yeah, whether your glass ceiling is $20,000 or $300,000, I believe we all have a place where we will stop.
Yeah.
And yeah, the most hilarious thing about that is, money is the number one thing that they put in the way. Yet when I sit down with my people to look at their finances, they actually have no idea. Right?
Yeah.
So they're pretty sure that it's in the way, but they really don't know anything about their finances or how to run their business or their lives from that place.
It's funny, when I got into my own business at the beginning, I felt very guilty about making money. And then I realized how tough it is. You know, if you look at the energy it takes to make the money, a lot of people, especially when they're new to an industry, they don't quite appreciate how much effort it took to get the lead, how much effort it takes to continue getting referrals and repeat clients, and just like the whole strategy behind it. Do you find that it's a bit of a mind game with people?
Oh my gosh, it's all a mind game for people. And I love what you said about feeling guilty about making money. I think I'm sorry, everybody that is like done with COVID conversation, but it's hard not to bring it in. But it really magnifies. So people are on one hand where there's nothing they can do about their money in COVID. Right. And then on the other side, the people that nobody is looking at, the people that actually are thriving and then feeling guilty about it, right? For somehow I shouldn't be. And I don't think COVID makes that any different. I think it actually amplifies it and magnifies that it's actually about your relationship with the money.
Yeah.
Right?
You know, the biggest lesson for me was just that the money is a tool, and I shouldn't feel guilty if I can use the tool to help people. But prior to that, I grew up in quite a left-wing socialist house, and my mom didn't have money; she had influence. But we got a lot of opportunities through influence, but not money. So she drove a Dodge Omni, and I remember when we went to buy our house, I felt guilty because we were buying a nice house. So funny.
Totally. Yeah. I find that someone asked me once, well, what does leadership have to do with the amount of money that you make? Or like, how do those go together? But really, it is a lot of beliefs that we have are handed to us. Right.
Yeah.
And including our beliefs around money. Right. And so when our parents lovingly hand those to us, right, they really want us to have the best with it. And we make that our normal or the way it is in the world. Right. And when we get there, we're like, oh, that might not actually work for me. Maybe that worked for my mom. Maybe that works for my sister. I don't know. But does this belief around how money works or how it works for me, does that actually serve me in my life or business? So the power of coaching in with your finances is we actually have a look at those beliefs. And just because it was handed to you, you actually can pick a new one, right? Like, oh, like, yeah, put that belief aside and choose one that actually empowers you. And I heard you do that where, hey, I used to feel guilty for making this money. And then I went, actually, the more money I make, the more I'm able to serve the people that I'm serving and make a difference in my community, with my family, right? Like there's such a ripple effect to these beliefs. Yeah.
So what strategies do you do or do you implement when you're working with your coaching clients to get them to think about money in a positive way?
Yeah, great question. My first strategy is let's get real about your finances. We need to actually know how much money is coming in, how much money is out. Those are the facts. Everything else is all the stuff you're making up about it. Okay. So let's get the facts straight first, right? And then I think one of the things that people in general aren't aware of, and thanks for the opportunity to help make people aware, but there are so many strategies out there to help us eliminate and manage our debt, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know many business owners that haven't acquired some sort of debt, either in building their business or building a business that fails and starting again is kind of part of the deal. And there's so many strategies out there to help you eliminate and manage your debt.
And ask for help.
Ask for help.
That's a huge issue. A lot of people right now, they're like, well, I don't need to ask for help. Well, you know what? It's a good strategy. And if you don't need help, you can give the money back.
Right. Yeah. And I often help my clients see that they have become, I call it an involuntary client of the debt making industry. Like, make no mistake that there is an industry out there designed to have you in debt, and they actually rely on our humanity, the part of us that doesn't want to ask for help. Right? That's kind of embarrassed and ashamed, thinking we got ourselves in this position so we can't ask for help. So that's such an important part. Ask for help.
Yeah, like don't pay till 2020. Well, you're in trouble now because you have a payment.
Yes. I think the other thing that business owners are missing out on is all the strategies that there are to then protect your wealth. Right? Yeah. So I used to think things like, I thought life insurance was for old people.
Right.
Yeah. And it's actually, there's so many business advantages to all kinds of insurance, health or disability insurance, life insurance, critical illness insurance that actually do have more of an investment component to them than they do.
Then they're not just about life. They're about an investment that you get a payout at the end. It's like a bond or something, right?
Yes. And really having our goal in business is to make money, but how do we then protect it, right? Like, God forbid something like COVID-19 should hit, right? Like, this is an unheard of phenomenon, but there's a lot of people that are getting now the advantages of that, and the people that already have it in place, because your foundation crumbles, right? If you don't have the kind of the steps and the things in place to hold your wealth and allow it to grow, it crumbles in times like these.
Are you finding that your coaching clients are asking different questions of you now that they're in the situation?
Mm-hmm.
What's the difference in the questions?
I think that it provides, well, first of all, there's a lot of panic, right? And so, just some breath. But if we switch from panic to urgency, right? Yeah, that, panic is kind of a reaction and a reactive state, but urgency, right? Life is precious and urgent. Right. And if we actually take the steps now that we've been putting off for whatever reasons, right, that we are just better equipped to deal with anything that life throws us, right? There's a reason why it's called the entrepreneurial roller coaster, right?
Right.
Yeah. COVID-19 might be one of those things that actually takes you right upside down on the roller coaster, right? But there's, always ebbs and flows and dips and valleys. Yeah.
Well, what I find when I've been working with business owners is if you look at this is the x-axis and over time, we're as an entrepreneur, you're going to go up and down, and what you want to do is even out that income over time, which you do through good business practice, but also sometimes, in the what throws people out of business is when the down is down and they don't have the income and then they're booted out. So really, if you can sort of build up your wealth so that you have a consistent income over time, that's when you are, to me, that's when you're successful, right?
Yeah.
Plan.
Yes. And that, if you think about it, that's exactly how a fund works over time financially. People only want to see it going increasingly getting better, but it doesn't go like that. It's actually results over time.
Yeah.
And yeah. So when you said, oh, are they asking you different questions? It's it's the panic from the dip.
Right.
Right. Yeah. And again, with that strong why or how come you would in place, it allows us to endure the dips in financially in the market as well.
Right.
Yeah.
So, where did you move from into coaching? What did you do before?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, I hail from the world of dentistry. I was a dental hygienist for probably close to 20 years.
Dental hygienists make great realtors.
I know a couple that are.
You know why?
Wait, tell me.
Focused.
Say that again?
You're detail focused. You pay attention to the details. So I can see in coaching why that would apply. It's a great, yeah. I like it. The skill set.
Yes.
Is very structured and consistent and paying attention to the detail over time. Yep.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Staying with people, right? Yeah, through their entire experience, right?
Yeah.
It's funny, I get asked that a lot. They're like, wow, that's a big change, like dental hygiene to coaching. And I'm like, it's actually not when you look at the transferable skills that we have.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm besides that, maybe I wasn't a very appropriate dental hygienist. I don't know. Don't tell my boss that, right? Because I don't know how many times I've sat someone up in a chair and they looked at me and went, I can't believe I just told you that.
Well, I found as a teacher, I was a phys ed teacher. So, other than the fact that I'm really good at avoiding balls as they come past my head, really it's managing in multiple things at one time. So I appreciate that, that as a dental hygienist, you're doing that. Okay. So let me just get back to here. So you have these clients and you're getting them on track financially. You're getting them on track in terms of their business. And so now they're ready to take the next step. What's the next step?
Yeah, thanks. I think I just want to go over the steps that it's really start with the end in mind, right? You and I already talked about project design, and then you kind of carve out a potential path. I think that's really important, that this is our potential path. We don't actually know how it's going to go. And then your question was, and then what? Forgot the question.
Yeah, because now, to me, they're going to be stepping into a leadership position. That's the point, right?
Yes.
What does that mean for you and your clients?
I think what that means is, sorry. So first of all, is creating a vision bigger than you know how. Right. And so what that means for me and my clients, and you already spoke to it, is a lot of not just holding them accountable. Like, it's not like I have a big whip and I'm like, you better do the thing. Right. But working with them to create that accountability system in their own life.
Yes.
Yeah. we have this saying where it's like, hey, if you want to get up and go to the gym and work out every day, you know the friend not to ask, right? There's either going to be the one that lets you down every time, or there's the one that's going to make you get up and do it every single day, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And I agree, like, because at the end of the day, it's not the coach who does the work.
Nope.
It's you who does the work, and you should be the one who's proud of doing the work. At the end, your coach can be proud of your behavior, but you are responsible for your own behavior.
Yeah.
Okay. And so start with the end in mind. And what else?
Yeah. Yeah. Have your plan. And then it's really just taking that ginormous goal and breaking it down into next steps, right? So manageable steps, and then talking about what will I do next. And I think another strategy that I have and I work with people is actually taking the action will make a difference, right? Because we can all get really busy and do the things that are in our comfort zone, but it's not, you're kind of going in a cul-de-sac and it's not really moving you towards your goals. So I don't know if you can relate to this, but when I was in university and I had a big project to do, I all of a sudden felt like baking cookies, right? I don't even bake, right? But these are the things that we can get caught up in, right? So kind of busy as a strategy to actually avoid the uncomfortable action, and the actions we actually know it will make a difference. And so, yeah, accountability and support to take that next step.
So one of the things I've found, again, working with people as a mentor, is that you're in the right place when you have that fear, which is from being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
But how, as a coach, do you help them move past that when they freeze? Because often I think coaching is helping people. It's like a dance: 2 steps forward, 1 step back. How do you help them overcome that?
Nice. Well, I think the first thing I do is actually just get with them in the freeze, right? Like, hey, I notice you're frozen. Right? And yeah, and really, from my perspective, it's actually okay if you freeze, right? So again, not making them feel like freezing isn't a viable option.
Yeah.
But again, we're back to that crossroads, and then really working with them about, well, what is the next step for you to take, and who actually do you want me to be for you in that step, right? Sometimes I use an analogy of, my daughter's going to kill me for this, but when she was little, she used to like to go swimming, and she used to like to jump off the diving board, right? But she was a scaredy cat. So she used to make me go and like swim and hold a noodle at the end of the diving board in the water.
Yeah.
She never actually grabbed the noodle or me, right? But something about knowing it was there allowed her to jump, right? So, sometimes I will actually share that story with my clients and go, look, like, I can get out walk the diving board with you and hold your hand and jump with you. Or I can walk out there with you and push you when you're not looking, right? Or I can get in the pool and hold the noodle, right? Like, what do you actually need to take that next step?
Yes. Somebody's saying here, my kitchen calls to me every time I have a task to do that. And I agree with that. In phys ed, what we used to do was we would, if we asked them to, let's say we're teaching high jump, we would have a graduated scale. And sometimes they just needed to take the little jump first before they went over to take the big jump. But they chose where they could take the jump. And so they would experience success as they were doing it. Do you find some people are afraid of success, that when they get there, they're like, oh my goodness, this isn't where I wanted to be?
Yeah. Yeah. And sometimes that's a place to explore too, right? You're talking about the ceiling. How much goodness can you be with, right? Is a place for people to explore. And it's a place that we like unconsciously cap.
Right. That's what, yeah, exactly. That's the feeling. The feeling can be self-imposed, right?
Yeah, it actually almost always is. Yeah. And so sometimes if the success in your business or your life, we might actually practice being with success in other areas, right? Maybe I'm super comfortable being an amazing high jumper, right? But I'm not super comfortable being an amazing coach, right? So we might like, how much goodness can you be with as a high jumper? Maybe I like plaster all my trophies all over the room and allow myself to bask in that goodness, right? It's really about not separating ourselves as a human from our business.
Right.
Yeah.
So, when you wrote to me, you talked about learning the skill of enrollment and the importance of creating the win-win everywhere. What does that mean?
Nice. I think that if we go back to our conversation about people feeling guilty making sales during COVID, right, is a great example of it, where if you're doing it from a place of a win-win, right, where I'm going to win because my business is going to make all this money and for whatever our reasons are, but I'm actually providing a service that is so needed right now, right? There's a win-win. And so enrollment, I call enrollment the energy to move mountains, right? And I'm sure you've had this happen before where the home that you're showing somebody is slightly over their budget.
Yes. Never.
And and they're like, no, can't. But and they know in their heart of hearts that this is actually their vision come to fruition.
Yes.
Yeah. And it's like, I could let you allow $10,000 to get in the way of everything that you wanted, right? Or I can support you to say yes to yourself, right? And and so that's what enrollment is actually like, not like creepy car salesman, like, I don't get anything if you buy this car, right? You do.
Yes.
Right? Yeah. And you also get the home of your dreams and the life that's actually in your vision, right?
It's funny you say that because I have a client who refers me a lot of business, and I asked somebody, I said, why did you choose me as your realtor? And she said, my friend told me you would help him find a dream home. And I was like, wow, that's really like, and then I realized that if probably like coaching, I don't find I'm helping people find homes. I'm helping them transition from one place to another, which is the same as you, correct?
Yeah.
And so you're really listening in the conversation. What is it that they really want?
Yes.
And if somebody says they want money, to me as a coach, that's not an outcome. That's a product. It's a byproduct.
Yes.
Of everything else, right?
Yes.
So when somebody says, I want, this vision, the vision in a house costs money, and you're right. Sometimes the money is, but you have to refine the vision. So, do you find that's a breakthrough when people stop talking about, I want to make $1 million? It's not the $1 million.
No.
It's what you do with the $1 million.
Yeah. It's value, right? It's just about the value, and the money might be a measurement that you have created that value or that experience, right? Like, you're not selling a home, you're selling a vision, right? An experience that people want for, sometimes for the rest of their lives, sometimes for the duration of their family. And we already talked about that predictably human beings come to a crossroads and they go left because it's more comfortable, right? Our job as a realtor and as a coach is to actually go, hey, I know it's really comfortable to go left, but the thing that you told me you wanted is this way. Right.
Yeah.
So will you let me go right? And again, do you want me to push you off the diving board? Do you want me to hold the noodle, or do you want me to hold your hand and jump with you? Because this is my job, is to be your partner right now.
Yeah. And ask the difficult questions, right?
Yeah.
Why are we looking at character homes and standing in a modern one? I've asked that.
Totally.
So who's your ideal client then?
My ideal client, I talk about this, and I say my ideal client is someone that has a vision to serve and a mission by which they will serve it. So if you have that thing already, you're rolling. If you don't have that thing, I will help you create it, right? But like I said, it's predictable that people will stop when it gets tough and go left when they want to go right. And so without that really strong vision about who they want to serve and how they want to serve it, like really their vision and their mission, it doesn't really matter anyways. And financially, if you don't have the foundation in place and you're building your house on top of it, when times are tough, it'll crumble, right? So they're really the same thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny. I've done a lot of personality profiling in my business, and I'm analyzing you, and I'm thinking, a blueprint nurturer. So you like the systems and guiding people to a successful finish, so that they achieve what makes them tick. Is that right?
Yeah, it's really a blend of like heart and rigor. What I get a lot is people say it's home and edge, right? Like I can really be this beautiful space, like take your shoes off, make yourself comfortable, be at home. But then the edge is I'm going to ask the question or say the thing or challenge you in a way that makes a difference. Yeah.
So how has your business changed through COVID-19?
What a great question. I think the number one reminder that I am given and that I have for other people is that it is not business as usual, right? Like there is no way that it's business as usual. And it doesn't mean that we have to freeze or stop.
Yeah.
Yeah. So one of the ways that my business has changed is stopping and breathing long enough to be with people in that space, because it takes a minute to get their bearings.
Right.
Yeah. And the last time I remember my business being like this was actually when Trump got elected.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, I work with a lot of American clients, and it's a similar experience, right? There's this, oh my God, the world has changed. Right?
Yes, and the ground has fallen beneath us.
The ground has fallen. Yeah.
Got to get some wings.
Yeah. And the other thing is, though, from a coaching perspective, this is actually where we live and where we serve our clients from anyways, is on the edge of your comfort zone, creating in the unknown. So on the one hand, it's no different.
Right.
Yeah. But on the other hand, remembering to be sensitive that people are having different experiences to COVID. Some people think it's amazing. And then, all the way to people have, I had a client this morning whose grandmother died yesterday from COVID. Right. Oh. And so taking the time to be with people in their humanity and then not stopping at the same time.
Yeah, I found, what you started out with was really interesting when you said how everybody responds to stress differently. And, a lot of people who are task oriented, all of a sudden when the task changed, they felt very disoriented. And the people who have a bit of shiny object syndrome have enjoyed this because it's been a new experience. But now I was thinking, gosh, is it 6 weeks? Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm reviewing, posts that I made a month ago, how different it's all been. And just feels like we're kind of starting in Canada or BC to come out the other end in a positive way. And my kids are getting a lot of pressure from their friends to be social, and we're trying to temper it. And so just as a parent, it's been like, whoa,
Yeah.
But as a business owner, I guess the only thing and working with my clients, I've just tried to sort of say, okay, here's what's happening. Here are the next steps. Same as you. Where do you want to go?
Yeah. A couple things I found really helpful for my clients is I work with this other team of coaches, and we developed a tool to help people really get clear what their uncertainty cycle is.
Oh, interesting.
Right, because like we said, there's a way in which we all respond to fear, and it's happening in the moment in COVID, but we're helping them see how this actually happens all the time, right? So whatever you're doing right now is actually how you react in uncertainty. And so having people look, are the actions you're taking actually going towards your greater goals, or are the actions you're taking designed to get you back into certainty?
Right.
Right, which actually doesn't exist.
Huh. That's
right.
interesting.
Like there's no such thing as absolute certainty. We never actually know. We never actually have control, but we think we do.
Right. Well, I find just as an entrepreneur, so probably your client, you know, I'm going through, when things are going great, I'm like, yeah. And then when things are going crappy, I'm like, no. And I always think, what helps is wisdom over time as you begin to realize that, okay, and probably this is why you need a coach, everybody, is because they're the people who tell you, you just keep going, because keep on the path, right?
Yeah. I'm so sorry, Jane. I just sent you a message. I'm like, I actually lost my audio for a second.
Okay.
Yeah, and so I caught the beginning of that and the end. So
that's okay. No worries.
Okay.
Don't worry. Is there anything you want to close out with? How about how people can get in touch with you?
Yeah, call me. You can, my email address is the best way to reach me. If you need to reach me faster, text me. If you need to call, like if you call me, I probably can't answer, and I don't often check my voicemail. So yeah, definitely reach out. Come to me through eWomen, come to me through Facebook, but email is the surefire way. So
okay, and you work with clients both in Canada and throughout the world?
Yeah, really all over the place. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. I learned a lot today. It was a really great talk.
Yeah, it was really great, Shot. Thank you so much for the questions and the opportunity and amazing conversation. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. Well, tomorrow we're going to continue on with finances, but it's going to be more of the mortgage nature. So we're going to find out if you still need help, what kind of assistance you can get. We're going to talk to Jennifer Lowe of Modern Mortgage Group. And if you want to be on the show, please message me. And if you want any information about real estate, just also message me. I'm happy to figure out what's going on in your neighborhood. So thank you again, Darrin. We will see you later. Hold on. We have two great information. Thanks, ladies. This has been amazing. Awesome. Glad to be of service. Yay. And I hope to meet with you guys soon online. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Jane. Bye.